you want to give us an update on Quinn? Yesterday you weren't sure. Talked about shutting him down. What's his status?
Yeah, he's not going to play tonight, so he'll get a bunch of treatment today, and then we'll go from there.
Are you leaning towards the 7 days that you talked about yesterday?
Well, I don't know if there's how many days, but we're going to shut him down tonight. We'll see how it is tomorrow. That's really what the injury is right now. See how it works out. See the severity. Every day it kind of changes. He feels a bit better, and then can he get through a practice? Really, it was smart that he wanted to go out and test it out. He didn't hurt it or anything, but I think it was smart to him to get off. So we'll see how it goes from there.
How do you balance the value of this player in must-win games versus the long-term value of the player?
Yeah, I think it's the severity of the injury where it's a long-term injury could really affect them. This point of the season, a lot of people play hurt. Now, this guy's a gamer, so sometimes you got to make decisions for Quinn, but we don't want to ever jeopardize this guy's career. Or it's not a career type of thing, but it's something you got to keep your eye on.
Rick, I don't think we've asked you. Upper body, lower body?
For Quinn's a lower body.
And it's got nothing to do with the previous.
No.
DPD go back in then?
Yes. Yeah, he'll go in.
You had him skating with Verona. Would he start on a pair with Phil?
He's going to get some time with him. I think I talked to Footy this morning. I'd like to see him get some time early with Phil, get him in the groove, and see how the game goes.
We're going to 48 hours to go until the trade deadline. Have you been chatting with management? Will you be sitting anybody out, or will you be playing full lineup?
Well, I think anytime you get this time, things happen hours to hours, right? So Patrick hasn't told me not to play this guy. It could have happened, maybe, but like right now, I just focus on downstairs. When I'm called upon for opinions or that sort of stuff, then they'll call me up.
Richard PK is ranked 6th. It hasn't been that high here in 10 years. From a coaching perspective, who gets credit for PK systems? I mean, I know it's up to the player. Your goalie is your best PK guy, but there's something going on here. There's some there.
There's something that when I got here is one we had to fix. In Arizona, we had a good penalty kill in Arizona. Yosi ran PK last year, did a really nice job. Footy's doing a hell of a job. So, a lot of those guys take a lot of credit for that.
Why is Beluga and Suter so effective as your first pairing?
I think system-wise, I think their chemistry together. PK is about attack points. I hate a passive PK. You hate seam passes through PKs. When you have a guy like Demko and a guy like Lankinen, if you can make them play half the net, just like 5-on-5, you got a chance every night.
Brock is a player whose name has been mentioned a lot going into Friday, and his production hasn't been there. We know what you've kind of said about PD in terms of areas he needs to improve. Where does Brock need to improve?
Yeah, I think let's face it. Him and Millsy had a lot of chemistry. Millsy drove a lot of play for him, so he transported the puck a lot. So right now we're trying to find complement best. He's not a transporter. He's a guy that gets to the end. That finish. So that's been a bit of a struggle. So I think sometimes Brock might have to change a little bit the way he plays to get more looks. I'd like to see him. He's a really good tipper of pucks. He's really good in the slot. Sometimes I think he's been deferring for the outside one-timer shot. I think his gift is around the net. I think that's something that you'd like to see him do a little bit more of.
Rick, piggybacking off of Farhan's question in regards to Quinn, you've got 22 games left to play. You're 2 points out of it. You're still in the race. You talked about that yesterday. You got St. Louis, though. You got Utah as well. What's the best case scenario for Quinn playing X amount of games with the last 22, and what's the worst case scenario for Quinn?
Well, it's a tough, scenario-wise. It's like, for me, it's like when, I talk to him every day. It's like, how he's actually going to feel. 80% Quinn will take on our team right now. But we also got to be careful because, he wasn't himself the last couple of games, even defensively, and we have to make sure that we give him a chance when he's on the ice that he can do all elements of the game. He's just got to pick his spots. So like I talked to him, if he does play, he's got to kind of almost be calculative when he goes and when he doesn't. And it's hard because he wants to go all the time. That's why he's such a great hockey player.
So you don't play again until Friday. Does he practice? Does he go through therapy? How does he get himself back to where you think you can get him in the lineup?
Well, that's the thing. When you talk to the trainers and the doctors, is it good? Do we just set? Well, he had 4 nations off too. It's 2 weeks for some reason. You got over that break. I don't know. Maybe he didn't heal as best we thought he would. That's why we laugh with the Four Nations, like shady business, all this stuff. The guy could, we can't even play the guy, so how's he going to play for the Americans? So that's kind of the hard part is, Quinn's dealing with some stuff, and it's unfortunate, but he'll deal with it.
Last one in regards to him. When you're dealing with one thing, sometimes
Yeah.
you can overcompensate. And was that what happened?
That has happened, yes. There's a part of that, yes. When you're dealing with something else kind of gets affected. It's not even injury-wise. Well, it's injury, but it's also just pain. It's a lot of different things. How tight you are and all that sort of stuff.
Rick, when he returns, do you have to be more conscious, I should say, in terms of his usage
Yeah.
and minutes?
Yeah, like I said, LA, we were trending at the 17-minute 5-on-5. That was our goal. We went to overtime, and he usually stays out 2 minutes on a power play. I think that's why I went to 2020. So we were trending on that. But yeah, no, we've talked about that. I've talked to Quinn. It's hard though. He's a thoroughbred, right? You're trying to put a thoroughbred in a half an acre type of corral. He wants to run, and sometimes we're gonna have to. Yeah, he's tough to put a muzzle on. Like he just wants to go. So when he does come back, we're gonna have to he's gonna have to buy his time because we need him to play for us. But a healthy Quinn, we had him shorthanded out there.
Do you think he'll be healthy at any point this year? When you look at the fact this has been lingering for a month plus now.
I don't think he'll ever be 100%. I don't think so. I mean, but I could say that about other guys around the league. It's hard to be 100% at this time of the year.
You've talked a lot about playing for the crest.
Yeah.
Brock is a guy that's been here for a long time.
Yeah.
I think he understands that. What can you say about Brock as a Vancouver Canuck in terms of all that?
Yeah, he's one of the guys when I got here. I've really come to have a great relationship with Brock. He's shared a lot of personal stuff, and so I got an affection for him. Like he's a guy that, he struggled, a couple years ago, and I think that he's one guy that has really played really well for me. No, I say a lot of guys have played well for me, but he's a guy that he's come up with the big goals. He's a low maintenance guy for me. He's not afraid to come to my office and talk. So yeah, he's just he's been a fabric in the community. At charity, he's just everywhere he goes. Fans love him. He's just one of those guys that he's a lovable guy.
If you put a letter on a sweater, that's a statement.
Like 2 years ago, who would have thought he'd put a letter on it, because that's the type of guy he means to me. So yeah, it's a tough situation. Like this is out of my hands. It's contract. It's all this stuff. Negotiations and all that stuff. So that's something out of my hands.
You talk about how big every game is. Obviously,
Yeah.
Anaheim with their win last night, and
Yeah.
you guys, it's kind of a rematch tonight. How much pressure is on this one?
Well, there's 22 games left. Every game that goes, the next game that goes, pressure mounts. But we got to deal with pressure. That's the whole. Last year we talked about meeting pressure with pressure. You can't hide. We should be embracing this stuff. We're in the race. There's some teams that are out of the race. We're in the race, so I'm not sure why we should be hanging our heads. And there are guys on this team. I told them they haven't had the year that they want, but they got 22 games to correct it. And I think you can correct some of that with playing a system game, but also showing passion out there and showing that the year's not done. I think that's something that you can't waste games. We talk about it every day.
You put a 6 spot up on the Oil last night. Why do you have so much trouble against rush teams? Ducks have a lot of really good young players as well. Why are rush teams causing you problems?
Well, I think, to be honest with you, I think it's a little bit of the D gap and the reloads. We really haven't had that much since I've been here. The odd time I get what you're saying, but we've, I don't know, before we lost the Ducks, I think we won 8 in a row. So, we got to just be careful of the narratives that we always throw around. Edmonton was all over them. Then Edmonton got loose like we did in Anaheim. We were up 2-0, and we started to get loose. And that's 60 minutes of leadership hockey, and that's what we need. So when you play the Ducks, they want to play a rush game, and you can counter that. And how do you counter that? There's a lot of different factors. Playing below the goal line, attacking, holding on to pucks. But you throw pucks away, and that's when teams like that, they got a lot of good young players that can score. So that Lankinen type, yep.
I got no other choice.
What do you got? Yeah.
I'm not going to answer that question just because I don't need, you know, all of a sudden
We're gonna
on
manifest it
social
for you.
media being like, oh yeah, I got to make this happen. Like, I don't need that.
You told me when you go to a bar, go do push-ups in the bathroom. You told me that, then you come out, you're all pumped up.
Well, second time. Can you please? I know. I see. Oh, scores. What is your favorite hockey team?
Quinn Hughes.
Quinn Hughes is your favorite hockey team? Win this game, not lose the game.
Thanks for taking the time to come and sit down and chat with me today.
Generational talent.
Thanks for liking the video and subscribing.